All right, recording a VOD for oHooly. He is a Diamond 6 player who has a lot of gun skill, but doesn't really know kind of the meta strategy of the game, so a little unfamiliar with spawns, unfamiliar with like kind of game by game strategies. So gonna try to help him out a little bit. He asked for people looking for some coaching, and yeah, glad to step in. So this is a Lattice Strongholds. His team got rolled. I didn't talk to him specifically about this game beforehand, but not sure if he's in a party or if he's solo queuing, but we're going to take a look at some of the plays he made and just kind of talk about like what I would do instead, or if I would do the same thing, just agree with it. I think just in general, Strongholds more than any other game type is mainly focused on tempo, and by tempo I mean getting advantage and then never letting the other team get back into the game. And you do that mainly by constantly trying to get a 2-cap and then force a trip cap when you get numbers. So you get 2-3 dead, you go get in the other zone, and then you just start picking up the spawners. The game almost gives you a radar whenever you've got them split spawning, because the second they jump in a zone, you know where they're at, but they don't know what angles you're coming from. So your team can constantly collapse, kill the spawners, and then as they're dying, the other spawners are spawning in another zone, and you just keep flipping them. I think some of my biggest pet peeves in Strongholds are not like, we don't want to set and hold crosses. We want to be putting pressure out on the map, so not running around with our gun up that so much, so to speak. We want to be getting into fights and trading things out as much as possible to open up lanes, and to keep us scoring when we're in advantage. On the flip side, when we are getting scored on, we don't want to be the first person to spawn up and then just hop in a zone by ourselves. We really want to wait on teammates and make sure we secure one perimeter of the map, so either A or C normally, and then we push out from there and try to work for something else. So let's take a look and see how he does. All right, so we're spawning in Crystal. So again, not going to talk too much about the strategy here. I will say just Lattice in general. There's a QT, and there's a sniper. The sniper is obviously the most powerful thing on the map. QT can be really powerful too if you like set it at a zone and then QT around the map to get back and forth quickly. But this weapon up here is going to make a huge impact on the map. So surprised to see, all four going this direction. Again, matchmaking, sometimes you just can't think about that. But if you are calming either in game chat with just randoms or coming with a team, someone needs to be, going for that. And if you've got a good shot, like, just go towards that anyways. Also, you have this zone. C's all the way across the map. The other team's spawning over there. B's the uncontested zone. So the sniper and B, the two most important things that you don't currently have on the map, are in the opposite direction, but we're sending all four people this way. Most pro teams are going to split like 3-1, so send 3 people one direction and then kind of flank the other direction out, so that to prevent people from flanking them, also to prevent from getting overwhelmed. So you don't want to have like 4 people in random spots. You want to have people grouped together kind of like this, maybe coming from different doorways or just different angles. You don't necessarily have to be holding hands, but you do want people fighting the same fights. But at the same time, you don't necessarily want all 4 people here. All right, so yeah, you're really focused on ice. I would say almost always, like, if I go this way, I'm going to try to grab this BR, and I'm immediately focused on this door. And I don't know if we want to call this big door, red door, garage door, whatever the case may be. Like, this red door is almost always where I predict them to come from. The reason being is this is like no man's land down here. The only exception is when King of the Hill's going on. Obviously, people are down here, but I would try to stay out of this area almost always. There's a couple times where you can, like get C and then come this way, or even kind of make a sneaky play up to here. But I would almost expect no one to be down in this direction off start. So you looking this way, I would definitely focus my attention more that way, which in this case obviously is the truth. This isn't always 100% going to be true. Someone's going to go the other way sometime, but Yeah, I would be more focused in this direction at first. You do at least take a good angle and also keep your shields, block line of sight this direction, so that's good. There's a mark right in front of you too. I don't know how much you pay attention to that, but like you're running forward and shooting at the sniper guy, but you don't see the two guys that are really close. And another big pet peeve of mine that you'll hear a lot of pros talk about is fight your close range battles. Don't worry about cross maps as much. There's times to cross, like if your teammate was getting ready to be top blue, like he was walking up the ramp and you're crossing and holding this guy's attention, then that's a great time to cross because you're getting damage for your teammate who's going to clean it up. But you're also distracting that guy so he can't pay attention to your teammate. But in this case, like you just killed one, there's a mark right in front of you saying, hey, there's 3 enemies here. Like I would be hard focused on my close range fights. But hey, you got 2 assists, so kind of worked out the crossing. Your teammate managed to get to him, but I think it's because the guy ran towards your teammate. And then this one, it's just good that you guys were shooting at the same thing. So right now, you guys are 4 up, and they're 1 up. And it's 17 seconds. No one has jumped in a zone yet. Like in higher ranked lobbies, the second that you get numbers, people are getting in zone. So I would either be hightailing it to C or hightailing it to B. 4 up, you could actually be doing both, to be honest. Only 1 guy alive. And even if you're down on shields, like you're waiting on your shields. I don't know if you recognize the numbers here, but like you just got 3 kills. You've got at least like 8 seconds before anybody else on his team spawns. Like the worst thing that could happen, you walk around this corner and get shot once, you just back up because the guy knows where you're at and your teammates can handle him. But this is definitely the time to just take a little bit of a risk and start moving. And now because you're late, he catches you off guard. You at least manage to live out of it, but like I said, 17 seconds, 26 seconds. We still haven't touched the zone. 27, 28, 29. They spawn up and get in a zone before anyone on our team even touched a zone, and we have 3 dead. So again, not necessarily blaming this all on you. I think you could have ran right here, curb slid into B, but when you're playing matchmaking, sometimes you just have to take the whole game into your own hands because you can't always trust the randoms to make the plays that you want them to make. On the flip side of that, you can talk to them and say, hey, we need to get in B, we need to get in C. Even if they're not talking, a lot of times they're listening. So, yeah, and now you're just kind of in an isolated area. Almost made it work. Maybe a little more trigger discipline and just start letting him run down that tunnel a little bit more and start shooting him as your shield's coming back. But you're kind of in no man's land at that point. All right, so you spawn looking at C. Your teammates are over there. Almost always, if you don't spawn adjacent to your teammates, it's because there's an enemy near your teammates. So in this case, there's an enemy over there. You do spawn adjacent to them this side, so you can assume there's no one between you and whoever that teammate is. But because you didn't spawn in blue closer to that teammate, there's someone there. But you can also know that we have no presence between A and C. So these guys here, you may not necessarily know that they're there. They could be A, they could be mid, they could be, just back C, but you have no idea where they're at. So going this direction is a little dangerous. I do like that you take this fight in a back alley and kind of isolate it, so that's good. Again, don't know what the numbers is. I just got a kill on C. Not really waiting on my shields here. I'm just hopping in. It's going to be tough now, though, because your teammates are all dying. And yeah, just constantly check back and forth here. And that's the kind of gun skill that will get you into Onyx. Like, you win a fight even though you're caught off guard, which is great. But yeah, be a little more aware of where the enemy can come from. Also, try to preemptively think about, well, if I get pushed this way, what can I do? And if I get pushed this way, what can I do? And almost the best solution for that is like to stand on the edge of these zones. So first, if you think about what he can see, if you're standing on that edge, he's got to come all the way here and then look all the way there to see you if you're on this edge. But second, if he comes here and you're weak and he starts shooting you, then you can just run around this corner and, maybe hop up the pipe, go in the window, or just bail and go connect with your teammates this way. So just try to play like a pivot point if you can. But you win the fight straight up. So that's good. They're 2 dead. we're 4 up. Well, we're 3 up. Like, we know a guy's in B. I'd say you're a little late to make a play on B, but I don't mind you connecting with your teammates. I'd almost always at least check this other door, but because your teammates can already see everything that's happening over here. Like, there's nothing you can add to this fight that they're not already fighting. Whereas if you go to that doorway, you might be able to prevent, like, you catch that guy off guard, and then he can't push Colt immediately. Like, if we rewind this back just a tad bit, like, if you imagine, because it's this guy right here who pushes your teammates. So instead of going this way, if you had hopped up here and started shooting at this guy, then what it does, number one, and I don't mean to just shoot him and kill him, because, you know, you can do that in these lobbies, but it's not always going to be the case in every lobby. You know, eventually you'll run into pros or other people who can shoot better than you, and you'll at least trade. But if you stand here and just draw this guy's attention, you also take his shields, so he can't push them in this direction because he's looking at you and he's wasting time with you. So that's kind of a thing about timing, is just buying time for your teammates. You're not looking to fight this guy and kill him. You're just looking to draw his attention away from your team and let them do the thing that they want to do. Instead, we're kind of like doubling up a route and wasting time, I would argue. And then there's just some indecision. Like, you're already here, might as well go stay with Puppets. You also notice that Colt just died and Puppets is shooting. You can see the exclamation point over his head. So staying in this area is probably a good thing now, because as we have numbers, we want to spread out on the map. But as our teammates start dying, we want to get closer together so that we can cover each other. And, like, this is the kind of crossing thing I'm talking about. Like, I know you're very confident in your shot, and I don't blame you. But just standing here and shooting this guy does nothing, because he can always back up behind that box. And obviously, if you fight him and kill him, that's great. He already has that zone, and your teammate just died over there. So it's like an even trade, not to mention they're about to get B. So, and you can't go help with B because you're going to be one shot after this fight at best. Even if you kill him straight up, you're one shot. You kill a guy in the zone that they already have, and they're going to be capping B, and you can't do anything about it because you're weak. So yeah, like, I like that you live out of the fight, but now what can you do? Because he's capping the zone, and you're like, man, I wish, like, this is a awesome way to, like, block your line of sight behind this box and then curb slide out here. Imagine how much better this fight would feel if you were full shields. Because you still kill him, but you would have killed him and then still been, like, half shields to either jump back up there or at least put a little bit of damage in on this other guy. So just, like, cut out the crossing. Like, there's no reason for that in most situations. There are some times that you need to cross, but for the most part, playing your close range fights is going to take you a lot longer, especially when you're getting double capped, if you're not in control. And so now, like, you have a teammate dead and you're taking the off angle, which is good. I'd say, like, unless you know for certain there's a guy there, there's no reason to even throw this grenade. You're just kind of telling them where you're coming from. You get a mark, like, just, yeah, that's good. Just keep going forward. Like, sprint, curb slide off the box. Not sure how much mechanic work you've done, but if you need some help with, like, curb sliding or anything, we can talk about that too. I'd be glad to kind of walk you through that. But you notice the other thing that's happening during all of this is they're wasting our time while their clock is ticking. So they're winning the game while we're getting kills, but those kills don't really matter. Whereas if you got that kill and then you are over here with your teammate, you guys can cap that zone together and at least get them from scoring. Now, you are occupying some people's time in this direction, so they can't go fight your teammate, but yeah, like, again, shooting in this direction isn't doing too much for us at this point. But the one thing I won't complain about is you are doing a lot of this while keeping your shields. Like, you're not losing shields pointlessly and getting one shot. Like, you are at least doing free damage. And yeah, like, again, 2 dead. I'm just not even thinking. I'm turning towards B and look, I'm going to shoot that guy. But even if he wasn't there, like, I'm immediately thinking about a triple cap and trying to get us into control very quickly. It's good to live out of that fight and not waste your life. Let your teammate get the kill, you get the assist. That's all good. Again, just push forward. Yeah, like, no need for hesitation here. Just run forward at this guy. Probably be thinking about B now, because as you see, they're now spawning at C because our team left C, which is understandable. A lot of times you want to just keep collapsing, but we're fighting at advantage, and everybody on our team just walked around B like it was lava. Like, don't touch the lava, the floor is lava or whatever. And we're fighting for the thing that they already have, or the thing that they're already fighting for, and they're spawning at the zone that we already had. So they took C for free. They're now taking A, which we're just going to keep funneling into and dying. Maybe we kill them at A and we keep A, but guess what? They're still scoring because we never got in B. So we're being really inefficient objectively. And again, not just you, your entire team. And if this is all randoms, then sometimes that's the case. But you have to also take, the lead on this sometimes, and either comment in game or just be like, hey, my teammates aren't jumping in zones. I need to jump in zones. And I also just don't like fighting straight up for a zone. If they're capping a zone, I'm almost always going to another zone, because I'd rather take their tempo play away and just trade zones. Like, let them set here and waste their time when we can just go get that for free and keep our shields, and then we can fight for C or like back cap A after they leave. Got a kill. Your teammate's still shooting, so you know there's still a guy there. You've only been hit once. Like, don't hide here. Just get out into the fight. And like, you've got another teammate with you. And again, is he calming? I don't know. But I would at least be on this ramp shooting this guy until I get a little bit weaker, because there's no reason to wait for your shields here necessarily. And you see as your shield immediately got taken back anyways. And sometimes you're going to win fights, sometimes you're going to lose fights, but at least you would be in the fight, drawing their attention so that Doc can come the other direction. Instead, they kind of just isolated you both, and then Puppets is too late to the fight. So you spawn here at C. You don't even think about getting in C. I'd say anytime you spawn opposite side of the map of your single living teammate, that means he's completely surrounded, so there's no point in even trying to get to him. This is the situation I was talking about at the beginning, is like, when you spawn and you're like 3-4 dead, your job is to just set still and wait. And once your second teammate spawns, then you guys want to hop this together and cap it. Or even if you're not setting it together, like, you should just be watching his angle, making sure nobody can come through this door or that door or that door. So like setting on like this pillar would be good, because people walk in or whatever. You could also get up top here and watch for him. You could just set back here and take a deep angle and watch for him. Or you could just be in the zone together, kind of staring off. So let's see what you do. Like, again, you're fighting in that direction, but there's nothing that you can do over there. And I'm sure Puppets is like screaming in game chat, they're one shot, they're all one shot, even though this guy's full shields and Puppet's dead. So yeah, I just, there's nothing you can do here. Like, what's the best? You're gonna shoot this guy once and he's gonna back up and pretend like you even, like, forget that you even exist. And meanwhile, this guy's just walking underneath you and he's gonna take your teammate on one-on-one. You even kind of look, I don't know, again, how good your mic quality is. I don't know if you heard that or not, but he also has an exclamation point, and even when you're turned sideways, as you can see on my screen, like, you can see an exclamation point. So you know that your teammate that you were next to is shooting. So you just can't abandon this guy, and unfortunately that's what you do. And to compound it, like, he was 90% cap C, and it's going to get reset. All because you're too focused on things like further away on the map. And yeah, like, it's just really tough. I'm glad your teammate got a cap here, but it's really tough to just even cross this bridge, especially when you're already getting shot at on the side. Like, you kind of got to clear this first, make sure there's nobody bottom cap, make sure there's nobody up top blue, and then go grab the sniper. And yeah, you should spawn back in Crystal or in A with your teammate. Yeah, you do. So you know that there was guys just at B. You also know your teammate's capping A, so just trying to get to your teammate as fast as possible kind of makes sense to me, especially, again, because he's got the exclamation point over his head. He caps it, but there's already a guy capping A again, so the game is also telling you there's somebody in that direction, but you're focused on guys in this direction. Now you're wanting the sniper really bad, which is understandable, but look at the scoreboard. I don't know how much the sniper is going to matter. When they just capped A, that we just, the only zone that we had, they just capped because we were focusing on the opposite direction. Yeah, so this is fine. Like, your team is getting a base together. This is good. Like, this is good reaction. This is the kind of plays that you need to be making all the time. Like, see what your teammates are shooting, where their exclamation points are at, turn, shoot their targets. They're 3 dead, sprint as fast as possible to A. No. don't do this. I don't even care that there's a mark here. You got 2 teammates alive. They're technically 2 dead now, but that guy just spawned in C, like 348, 49, 50, 51, 52. Like, we wasted about 5 seconds that we could have already been in the zone, and now we're still not in the zone because we're up ahead of it. Meanwhile, now that all of that happened, like, your teammates backtrack through A to come help you, and so that guy over there started to get into the B zone. So, and yeah, I mean, you trade that out, but your teammate also died in A. It would have been just a whole lot better to just hold your ground at the crates in A, dip and dodge around them, and get the zone instead of like leaving it, because now you're getting trip capped on when you had control of that. So off this spawn, like, your teammate's fighting for B, 2 teammates are fighting for A, and you're gonna go get C. And you spawned here, so you know this area is probably pretty safe, so I can't tell you not to get in C. But this is the unfortunate thing that I think a lot of lower ranked lobbies do, is we just try to fight for too many things at once. Like, we're trying to get A, B, and C at the same time, which is spreading our resources too thin, and we're going to end up in a bunch of one-on-ones. I'd almost have just sat in that windowsill and try to figure out where he's coming from first. Like, did he backtrack to you? If not, then you know he's probably coming this way, and then dropped into the room. This is fine too, though. Again, I wouldn't even shoot that guy. I know your teammate's there, and you got a shot for him, which is good. But, like, this teammate's already in a fight, and he's right next to you. You can definitely help this guy out. Like, you can barely help that guy out with 1 shot. You can 100% help this guy out. And so you get in, but, like, your teammate trades. And honestly, your teammate made a bad play too, because he should have shot that guy a couple times and let you finish him. But are you calming that with him? And also, even if you're not calming it with him, like, you're just a little late because of the way that you played that. Like, you started looking in the other direction. And yeah, like, there's nothing to do at that point after your teammate dies. But you can blame your teammates for going negative. You can blame your teammates for whatever. But if you had the opportunity to keep him alive because you were in the room with him immediately, then you know, it's kind of on you too, right? Like, you need to be there with your teammate. So this is the kind of crossing that I'm talking about that is good, because your teammate is in B. You are actually doing something effective on the map, right? You're keeping this guy from fighting your teammate who's capping his own. So, like, this kind of crossing I completely understand. So you're taking too much damage here. Like, you can't just stay in this fight. And I know you want to kill him, but, like, you've got puppets down here who's probably full shields that can just shoot this guy. And, like, what's the worst that guy's going to do? He's going to set top tower while you cap B. Like, just jump out of this fight a little bit early and jump up on this box and go mid-cat or get up to top blue. Get your shields. Don't stand in a fight. Try as hard as possible to not just take fights straight up and trade out or lose them. It's okay to trade in certain situations, but it's not okay to die to cross maps like that. And yeah, like, there's just not much to do here once you go this direction, right? Because you're looking for crosses, you're getting messed up by that guy, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you start shooting one guy, higher levels, there's always going to be a second guy. So you either have to get into a close range fight that you know you can finish and win, or you have to take free damage, like you were doing a little bit earlier in the map, where you just shoot guys that are not looking at you, and then you leave the fight. Yeah, this is just awkward. Again, your teammates are all across the map. Your teammate's dead here. Why is he in ice? I don't know. I would say going towards your teammates is probably the better play at this point, but I also understand spawning red. I want to go get C. You see that guy? A little bit delayed reaction, but you do win the fight. And yeah, now the only thing you can do is try to cap C because you win the fight here. You should feel pretty confident that there's not another person on you, but yeah. Like, if you're in the fight with your teammates, do you guys win that fight and win B, and then you can move somewhere together? Maybe, but winning this one and getting C is a pretty good start. Meanwhile, Doc is just out in the middle of the map after all of his teammates died, so he's going to die now. And, like, you're kind of indecisive. You're like, should I go that way or this way? I would say if I just did that and all my teammates died, I'm definitely going to, like, go this direction and try to get to A, but I'm not swinging, like, wide here. I'm, like, my mind is my teammates are dead. I've got to stay in kind of a sneaky spot. And they also know that you just cap C. So I'm like hugging this wall as tight as possible, and I'm trying to wrap here, check this corner. By the time you get to here, some of your teammates will spawn, so it'll let you know, hey, did they spawn behind me? Okay, I should be good that way. And then, like, where are my teammates going? And you can watch your teammates through the walls. And if they start going to B, I can go B. If they start doing something dumb, then, yeah, you can come up this way and try to get to A. But the whole idea is, like, how can you be efficient with your life while not being reckless while you're the only guy alive? And you're kind of doing that. I think you're just a little slow on it. So that's good. And yeah, like, again, if you catch a guy off guard and you can kill him for free and take no damage, then I'm not going to tell you not to do it. I will say, like, they're 2 dead, and I don't care if you kill this guy. Like, just get your feet in that zone. Like, we're wasting too much time. Again, that guy is already at C, so, like, just kind of take a look at this from a wide angle. You're already losing by almost 200 points. Okay, so your teammates are marking guys above you. You kill that guy. Your teammate just died. There's a guy here, but you don't really know that yet. And then there's another guy that just died up here. So there's only 2 of them alive. There's 3 of you alive. Like, I'm in every zone on the map if I'm down by this much. Like, I'm trying to get as much space as possible. I don't care if this guy dies. I will set MB and shoot at him, and he's going to have to come to me with low shields. But instead, like, they are in a zone before you guys are in a zone when they were 2 dead and you were 3 alive. And yeah, just another kind of rule of thumb, which is hard to know because you were doing this a little early, but if your teammates spawn over here, they're almost always in that direction, so like throwing the nades over here is not really useful, but it's not that bad because it's kind of a bang bang play. Yeah, like just trying to hug these walls as tight as possible and not take damage, which is just unfortunate. Like, you got 1 trade out, but you guys went 2 dead. It almost feels better to, like, just go through tunnel and get to C or get back to A here. Or just kind of ride in tunnel and let them touch B before something happens instead of you trying to push towards them when you don't quite have the control that you want. But trading out in a situation where you're in control is not a bad thing. Yeah, so you're looking to see what Doc's doing. Like, anytime that you know that they haven't touched anything in a while, you should be feeling pressure pretty close to you. But I would be getting, like, either top mid or up into this doorway to where I can see something, because, like, they're going to touch B before you can even see them at this point. And you can argue you're watching Doc's back, but if you're wanting to watch Doc's back, just go get with Doc. Instead, you're just, like, really late, and this guy comes in. You were also, like, I don't know what you were watching. Maybe you were watching the mid door, and that part's kind of unlucky that he has a sniper, but you could also argue you could have been in a more effective place on the map. And yeah, so Colt's trying to get C by himself while they're getting B. He does get C, but then he just immediately dies because he takes a fight. Again, if he's playing the pivot, he gets out of C and lives. So you have to think kind of timing here too. Like, you just spawned in the only zone that you have. They're capping C, they're capping B. They're going to get B before you get there. You could argue that, like, maybe sliding out this way, they'll be getting out of B and you can get into it right when they get out. I would almost say going towards C makes sense too, because by the time you get there, they'll have capped it, and they'll probably start running back towards the middle of the map. So you can get in it after they leave, or get in it at, like, the last second before they cap it. But going here and getting into the closest zone is completely fine as well. It's just, again, the timing is weird. That guy also made a weird play where he didn't even go to A. He just turned and shot you. So that was cool. Kind of just in time scramble mode here. So it's probably not too much more to take from this. Yeah. So I'd say my biggest takeaways from this are just, objective efficiency. You want to make sure that you are getting in zones, calling out numbers, even if you're not seeing the numbers. Like, you got to feel, if I get a kill or two, like, I've got to get in a zone. If your teammates aren't going to do it, you've got to do it. And then the other takeaway is like you can't be caught up in fights like this. Like this guy started capping A, they need 1 second. And I'm not saying that you can get there in time, but like you're going to waste several seconds throwing this grenade and shooting at this guy who doesn't even matter. He's not doing anything, whereas that guy's about to win the game. So just trying to be more efficient with your time use, not standing still so much, like working towards something instead of shooting crosses. Completely fine to shoot for free damage and kill people if they're not looking at you and not shooting you back, but or if you're holding them off of your teammates, but you 100% got to get out of this habit of like shooting across map against somebody who it serves no purpose. Like he can always back up if he wants to get out of the fight, and even if he can't back up, like they're in control and their clock is ticking, they're winning the game while you're wasting time shooting them across the map. But anyways, let me know what you think about this, and got any other games you want me to review, let me know. Thanks.